Good morning and happy Moon Day. It's Claudia here, and we are in the last quarter, the first quarter phase in the waxing part of this lunar cycle that's all about self-empowerment. I want you to remember that because we have a full moon coming up that's really going to kick that into high gear or show you the blockages that prevent you from feeling powerful and empowered in your own life and in your relationships. It's quite a week. Yeah, quite a week. So as we begin this week in the first quarter phase, I want to give you some keywords for the first quarter phase. But first, I want to do what we always do, which is the heart drop. We got a full moon coming up that's ruled by Venus. So this is super appropriate at this time. So put your feet on the floor. Feel that energy from the soles of your feet. Kiss the earth and go down about 3.5 feet below the earth to your personal earth star. And take a breath from there. And just begin to allow the breath to come and go. Notice where the breath is in your body. Are you breathing fully? If not, on the next inhalation, welcome the breath to every cell of your body. Now feel that inhalation waft all the way up, quickening, delighting every cell of your body as it moves all the way through your whole body up to the top of your head, your crown chakra, and white light pours down through your crown chakra as you exhale. Fill your body with the energy from the earth, all those beautiful kingdoms, all those beautiful colors wafting up through your cells, feeding them, providing healing wherever healing is called for, providing balance wherever balance is called for, enlivening you. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Make your exhalation a little bit longer than your inhalation. And now, on the next inhalation, when you get to the top of your crown chakra and you begin to exhale, just feel the energy moving down from your head, all that thinkety-think, down behind your facial mask, behind your chin, through your throat, down through your chest, into your heart. And when it moves into your heart, that light that's melded from heaven and earth expands into your body. And now on the next exhalation, as you land in your heart, you feel that light translate as love to every cell of your body, to every parsec of your existence. And just allow that light, that love to travel through your whole being. And now on the next exhalation, that beautiful heart energy moves through your skin, filling your auric field. And now on the next exhalation, as you drop into your heart, that energy moves to embrace your neighbors, your friends, your community, this country, the world, and the people and plants and animals and kingdoms in it, and this beautiful earth. Feel your heart energy embrace this earth with massive, wonderful love. Now that energy moves out into the universe. And now you feel your hips on the chair, feet on the floor, very centered as all of that beautiful, loving energy returns to you 1,000 times magnified from the universe, from the earth. And now we send energy to anyone who might be in need, to anyone who might be suffering, to anyone who cried themselves to sleep last night, who's been suffering grief or loss. We send that love to them, that massive love, to all the places on earth that are suffering hardship, And the energy continues to travel back now to our hearts. Once again, feeling it fill our whole bodies, feeling our feet. And we open our eyes. And you're here in this present moment with me. Leo rules the heart. And so the moon is in Leo. It also rules the upper back and spine. So if you find that you are experiencing some tension, or your shoulders are up here rather than down here, drop into your heart and feel it expand that energy in your upper back and spine. Good, huh? Yeah. You know, you'll get to the point where you can do that really quickly so that when you're listening to people, when you're moving through your day, you can breathe in and out of your heart. You can see the world from your heart, quite literally. And just move that energy in and out, blessing all whom you come into contact with, enabling you to be present for conversations and connections with others, with the earth, with the world. So let me know in the chat if you're here and where you're hailing from. And if you are watching a replay, then let me know that as well. Let me know where you're hailing from. Hi, Conchetta. Good morning. I hope I said that correctly. And Denise, wonderful. Yeah, I love the heart drop. And a Facebook user, I don't know who you are, but I send you love and welcome. And another Facebook user, blessings to all goddesses. You betcha. And that leads me into something that I want to mention. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this book. It's been out for every year for a long time. And it is the Wee Moon publication. And this year it's about the magical dark, which is so appropriate for the South Node in now traveling through Scorpio. But I want to give you some words for this first quarter phase, because first quarter is very Aries-like energy. The new moon is as well. But this is the phase where, you know, you take action on your intentions. And moonrise is at midnight and moonset is at noon. So if you're sitting out in the morning journaling or going about your day, you might just notice that diaphanous half moon that's above you. And of course, the moon rises about 50 minutes later each day of a lunar phase. So some words for this phase are activate, urgency, building, risk, commit, free up, plunge, independent, expressive, and promise. And as you mentioned, the goddesses, Diana is the goddess that has to do with the first quarter. So you might want to educate yourself a little more about Diana if you don't know about her already. She's a wonderful goddess. She's also known as Artemis and has other names in different traditions. And, you know, if you start to research that, you will find it. So I mentioned that this is quite a week. Well, last night at about 7 p.m., Mercury moved into Taurus. So that helps provide a calming influence. It, you know, slows us down a little bit so that we can think deliberately as we move forward on our intentions with all of this energy and this build up toward this full moon. And that's going to be going on all week because the full moon is coming up on Saturday. So you might find this morning that that you need a perspective check. Is your glass half full or half empty? What's your perspective? Because we need to have a glass half full perspective in this time on planet Earth, in this time of awakening. Also, I know for years I taught glass half full, but now I do an exercise and I put this out to you as well. What would it be like if your glass was overflowing? What would that feel like? Because as you know, feelization is the key to manifestation. Walking in the feeling of what you want to manifest is already accomplished. So ask yourself that question. What would it feel like? First of all, it will bring up various areas where you need to work, possibly with gratitude or ho'oponopono, which just so you know, you can look up Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian tradition for forgiveness that is so powerful. And the way it goes is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I'm grateful. Those are the 4 sentences. You can direct it toward anything. You can, say, I'm directing this toward the areas where I still suffer from the illusion of lack. Anything that I complain about in my life, I direct this forgiveness towards a person, place, thing, situation, anything like that. Very, very powerful technique. Ho'oponopono, just like it sounds. You can look it up and learn more about it. And you can also go on YouTube and hear about it. You can hear, you can look that up, and you can actually have it played beautifully. 108 times. There are 108 names of source, and throughout the world. So that's why you'll see on different beads, and I'm blanking on the name of those right now, but you will see 108 beads. Many traditions, the rosary, many traditions have this. And so oftentimes you can hear this go through 108 times through the mantra of Ho'oponopono. Very, very powerful, especially in this time when one of the key words for that South Node in Scorpio is forgiveness. Yeah. So I want to mention that Debbie, my cohort and co-host behind the scenes here, who has the Spirituality Gone Wild platform, is her platform. And it's just wonderful. There are so many wonderful shows and presenters on that platform, and I get to be one of them. And over the weekend, we activated my YouTube channel. So you can now stream this show there, either live or in replay. And that is Claudia Thompson, Moon-Powered Astrologer. There are many Claudia Thompsons in the world, as it turns out, even though when I was a little bitty thing, I was the only Claudia I knew. It's become a much more popular name. And so it's Claudia Thompson, Moon-Powered Astrologer. And you can always find the archive of the most recent show there, and past shows as we go forward. And I'll be putting up little things, occasionally there and on Instagram. Facebook has changed its platform, and I'm finding that I will continue to put my little blurbs on Facebook, but I find that Facebook is, it's not quite what, it doesn't give me the reach that I want. So a lot of the way that reach happens is for you to share me, to tell others about me and what you've gotten out of the show. And if you like it, please share it with your friends. And that's the way my audience will build. I love this. Her glass is always overflowing. Well, Denise, that is fabulous. You're living in it. Because to me, that's the way to 5D. And also in the world, hi, Lisa. Hi, sweetie. And also, if you are living in a mindset of overflow, you're negating one of the big belief systems that we're moving away from. It's a belief, it's an illusion, which is scarcity. And also, you are allowing people to draw from your overflow. And so they are never compromising your essential energy. And that's really what you want, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Especially with the moving through the photon belt, the coronal mass ejections, all of the light we're being bombarded with to help us ramp up the hertz of the collective frequency more and more quickly. And so that sometimes takes more energy, and we're not used to that enervation. So if you're feeling tired or you have headaches or flu-like symptoms, know that this is part of this time of awakening. And it's your body. Your body's trying to adapt to all this new energy. So allow, because, I find it interesting that we've moved into this time of radical change, and most of us acknowledge that. And yet we want to do life in the same way. We're going to keep marching to that go calendar, that very solar oriented way of being. And one of my goals is to help you step into ebb and flow, out of the go into ebb and flow. And so we have to really listen to our bodies, because if we're healthy, if we've got that vibrant health in hand, everything is possible. everything is possible anyway, but it just moves some of the blockages out of the way if your physical vehicle is really being given that sacred self-care that this time demands. So fun, play, enthusiasm, these are all words for this time, this couple of days with the moon in Leo. It's passionate, and it asks you, what makes your heart sing? What do you want to put your energy behind? And how much can you live in your heart so that you don't have an agenda when you're shining your light, but simply the joy of shining your light. So, any challenges that are before you, you will find that these new ideas and courage, if you bring those to the challenge at this time during these couple of days, it'll really move you forward into that first quarter energy, because this is the phase of action. Now, the waxing cycle, the first half from new to full moon, is the time that's active, building outward energy as the light grows. Light equals energy. And on Tuesday, tomorrow, at 7:06 a.m., the moon is going to move into practical worker bee Virgo, sign of service. It takes that heart-centered focus, those passions, and puts them into the context of service. So it also asks you to be more efficient, to move into and to look at the practical things of life. So tomorrow is the day that we have a major celestial event. And we've been feeling it for several days, if not weeks. It's the spiritual and creatively expanding Jupiter conjunct Neptune event. Occurs every 165 to 166 years. So 1856, if you have a past life that you can remember, that's the last time that this occurred. And it's setting a tone for the next 12 to 13 years as Jupiter moves around the zodiac. So I'm looking at this like a tuning fork, where you really feel the vibration, you really hear it, it goes into all your cells. And then that tone seems to dissipate, but actually that vibration is continuing, especially with Jupiter, to expand out into your world. So it is one of the major tone setters for the rest of 2022. And I'm going to give you some keywords for Jupiter and Neptune. Remember, Jupiter wants you to grow something. And Jupiter is called the Great Benefic, good fortune, opportunity. It really wants you to grow your spirit, to grow in your spirituality and your connection, your divine connection to the field of all consciousness. And Neptune, one of its monikers is the Great Dissolver. So it can seem to dissolve linear time. And when you start to compress, or when you start to dissolve time and space, you end up with magic. Yeah. So I want you to remember, because it's in Pisces, and Pisces can also tune us into the ongoing suffering is a virtue construct in the world. And, we're all sending heart-centered light and love to the Ukraine and to Russia, and just to the concept of war, sending heart-centered energy to that concept so that it can dissolve as an economic model. We're ready for it, right? I've been ready for it for a long time. And so I'm looking for my notes here to give you some keywords for Jupiter. Beliefs, higher purpose. I mentioned the Great Benefic. Joy. You've heard the phrase by Jove. Well, that has to do with Jupiter. And joy is the clearest evidence of the presence of spirit. So that's what you want to grow. Jupiter's promise is, I'll expand whatever you focus on. So it's really important that you focus on the high side, that you have that vision in order, that you crafted it when the cycle was in Aquarius, and you bring that vision forward into Pisces, so that when you hear of things, or when you experience loss, or you hear of loss and suffering, that you can move into that other space, while sending love and light, and seeing and knowing that because the infinite is in perfect balance, the solution is already in place. Neptune, I mentioned magic, illusion, also fog. So as we have this explosion of energy, so to speak, move out into the months ahead, you may find, because we're going to have, by the time of the full moon, we will have Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Neptune all in Pisces. And this can muddy our thinking. And so that's where really listening for your inner guidance, getting your marching orders from your inner self, your higher self, so important while having your feet on the ground. Wonder, mystery. You can see it's pretty wonderful. It's really a resplendent, hopeful conjunction. And it reminds us in Pisces that we are the bridge between heaven and earth, that it's up to us to create that, to manifest that by living in an Edenic consciousness, the consciousness of Eden, the willingness to see it and experience it all around you. It's here. It's simply that the veil was dropped and we forgot and we moved into good and evil polarity, however you want to look at it. But when we rise out of that into love, into the truth of who we are, that we are spirit having a human experience, then we experience Eden everywhere that we are. So Jupiter shelters and protects, and it's good fellowship. It brings harmony in our relationships. It expands. Again, if you're focusing on the high side, it expands that. So if you are loving, if you are committed to loving every day, then you will have that expand in your life at this time. The challenge with Neptune being right there is if you are wearing rose-colored glasses, if you are a victim, I don't like to use that word, if you are experiencing deception in your life, it can either throw you farther into that, or it can lift the veil and show you where the illusions have been in play. And I feel that we're going to see a lot of that. More and more and more is going to be revealed. And then we've got this full moon coming up, which is, full moons are always about revelation as we reflect on what's occurred. And I want also to remind you that Jupiter is said to be the place, the home of the planetary logos, and the place where the ascended masters hang out when they're not with us. So tuning in to this Jupiter conjunct Neptune energy, there can be these galactic forces, these ascended master energies available for you to get guidance from. Really pay attention to your dreams. Dreams are going to be more powerful than ever. Compassion. This is one of the opportunities, and that is to see compassion rise on the planet. And perhaps that is the other side of war, to expand our hearts, to expand our dedication to compassion for others, compassion for ourselves. Again, filling that well to overflowing. So joy and happiness are very, can definitely be a part of this conjunction. But remember, these are inside you. This is not something happened and therefore I'm happy. That the external world, these are things, qualities that you can cultivate within yourself. Happy for no reason. Joyful because I am, because I'm alive, because I know that spirit is with me, animating me. And it's going to remind you of your special connection to the universe and the planets and the people in your life. And that's just beautiful. So watch, because daily magic and enchantment, that's another wonderful word for this conjunction, enchantment. So enchantment can indicate glamour and illusion also, enchanted, but it can also be finding the enchantment in life, the magic in life. Happiness, delight, a sense of wonder that nothing on earth can take away. So these are the things that you can tap into. It's extremely imaginative, creative energy. And so coupled with this cycle that's all about bold, daring ideas, can be really, really powerful. And it can plant seeds in the realm of your imagination and your ideas and your dream, like, like never before. So you're reminded to dream big and take a leap of faith. So remember those two things: dream big and take a leap of faith. Fill your well to overflowing. Practice your mastery, that spiritual mastery, that connection. And it can be simple. It doesn't have to be, oh, I've got to lie down for an hour and meditate, which if you're able to do that, that's lovely. But it can be turning life into a living meditation, knowing that every moment truly is a gift. And so many of us have suffered loss and are aware of the collective grief that's going on. And so honoring each moment for the gift that it is one of the things, of the energies that can be ramped up with this conjunction. Inspiration. Pisces asks you to stay in touch with your inspiration. Also, to be aware of your energy, because Pisces is the most emotionally sensitive energy of the zodiac. That's what one of the aspects of it. And so Jupiter expands that. It expands empathy. So just be sure that your auric field is not way, way out there. And one of the things that you can do is to spread your arms, feel your fingertips. And if you can even do this beforehand in front of your heart, get the energy going in your hands, expand it out. You want your auric field to be at arm's length. And if you feel like it's way out there, can you feel that? If you feel like it's way out there across the room, bring it in. Just drop into your heart and bring that auric field energy, that energy field in to the tips of your fingers. And that's the way that you can protect your energy, so that you feel, what's yours is yours and what is someone else's is theirs. Sympathy is one thing, but empathy can really throw your energy off, and it can put you into moods that are not yours, into energy fields that are not yours. So just be aware of that as well. So we have that major celestial event that's 7:42 a.m. And remember, it's a divine gift. Dream big, take a leap of faith. Perfect for this first quarter phase, right? And in the afternoon, at least on Pacific Daylight Time, and when I say these times of day, remember, I am in California, so I'm talking Pacific Daylight Time. So adjust the area of the day or evening for whatever zone you're in. Because the afternoon tomorrow, the afternoon energies support you in focusing on the tasks at hand. So that's good. Later in mid to late afternoon. So it can be a productive day, even though we have, and remember, these are, Jupiter takes a year to go around one time. That's its orbit. But Neptune is many, many more years. It's over 160 years to go around once. So even though we have these times, these moments of conjunction, when meaning two energies, two planets unite in the same sign of the same degree, if it's an exact conjunction, which this is, then you feel it. You feel it on either side. And as I said, it's like a tuning fork. You can tune in at the time that I gave you, 7:42 a.m. Adjust that for wherever you are. So you can tune in at that time and see if there's a download going on. And if you are, I know one person here's from Hawaii. So if you're in Hawaii, you might be asleep and dreaming. But those pre-dawn dreams, those dreams from like 3 a.m. on to dawn are going to be so powerful. They have been, because Neptune's been in Pisces at home, and Jupiter and Neptune are co-rulers of Pisces. I don't think I mentioned that. This is why this is so, so powerful. because these are the two co-rulers conjoined in 166 years, the first time for us in our lifetimes, in the same degree, in the same sign. So that's what makes it super, super powerful. And there is a very high side to it. So then we move to, at 10:30 p.m. tomorrow night, we move into the gibbous phase. And that's always the phase, I call it the pressure cooker phase, that precedes the full moon, because the blood, the lymph, the water in our bodies starts to rise and fall like the tides more dramatically. But it is the phase where you polish your progress and you see how you've done with your new moon intentions. It's kind of like the last call for that outward active building energy prior to the full moon. And some words for that are clarity, carefully, perseverance, ask how, perfection, design, progressive devotion, swell, reach, renew, change. And the goddess is Vesta. You know, in Latin, Vesta translates to keeper of the heart. We think of it as keeper of the flame, the Vestal Virgin, but its direct translation is the focus of the heart. So that's really beautiful. And so in the gibbous phase, you know, you're asked to take a look at that, because we have a full moon coming up that's ruled by Venus. And you might find so this is Wednesday, that you're asked to take a new approach to your usual routines during this gibbous phase. And what does that mean for you, and how can you do that? Are you practicing your mastery every day, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically? All those layers, all those areas. And you may find that there are areas in your relationships, if you've been denying your needs, that come up on Wednesday. So you get to take a look at those, because we're moving into this dynamic full moon in Libra, squaring Pluto. So again, power, about our power in our relationships. Are we self-empowered? Do we give our power away? Do we play power trips in our relationships? Is there some need that we have not expressed? As we come into Thursday, watch your dreams. There's a setup as the moon comes together with Neptune. Powerful setup for some amazing dreams, pre-dawn particularly. And the dream images can offer insights as to what you want to create, next and in your life. And we're looking at longer term goals as well. So you've been working, remember, in the Pisces cycle, the last lunar cycle, you were encouraged to look at what the big dream is. So that came from the plan, the vision, the dream, and now the bold ideas that are going to be able to be put into action, grounded in the next cycle with the resources that you need. So you really are starting to build toward your long-term goals for your life, your loved ones, and the world, and the earth. So in the morning, it's busy, and it's good to apply your energy to the tasks at hand. And, then later, you might find that your progress is waylaid in the afternoon a little bit. Oh, thank you, Leslie. By the way, this is a tree of life. You see me wear this sometimes. It's one of my favorite pieces, and that's what that is. And these are pink amethyst in honor of the pink moon, the pink full moon coming up. I'm going to be talking about why that is called that. So I want to remind you, as we move through Virgo, that rules digestion, your small intestine, your nervous system, and your hands and arms. We reach out to be of service. But oftentimes, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And so oftentimes it can be a lot of mental energy, even though it's an earth sign. It reminds us to take the time to chew, to digest, to get our ducks and priorities in a row so that we don't look at life as a smorgasbord of to-dos that overwhelms us. And that will go a long way to keeping you in good health. Also, breathing. Mercury rules the lungs. So breathing to calm your nervous system. Now, I find that the nervous system of the world is ramped way up right now. Lots of anxiety. So being present, dropping into your heart, allowing yourself to be in the present moment. We have so much stuff that tells us that that's not being responsible. And it actually is completely responsible, able to respond. Because if you're not present, your focus, your clarity, your ability to respond diminishes tremendously. So then on Friday, April 15th, tax day, Scorpio South Node, one of the things that Scorpio has to do with is death and taxes. So not something that we all like to think about, but perhaps a timely reminder. So there could be some confusion. And, we can have an overactive imagination or miscommunication, confusion. These things could be coming up on Friday morning. So tread carefully to avoid offending anyone. And that becomes particularly strong around midday. So if you're having a power lunch or a lunch with someone, just remember, drop into your heart. It's the safest place you can be, And then, also part of this tension around possibly offending someone or miscommunication has to do with Chiron. So this tells us that as the day goes on, we can have healing insights. And remember that new moon was conjunct Chiron. So that told us that we had new healing possibilities available to us during this cycle around how to express our individuality and anything that gets in the way of us really expressing our true self. So the things that came up the day before, the ideas, the things that might have come out of your dreams on Thursday, may come up for further exploration as you move through Friday, as the week comes to an end. So that's kind of cool, and you can put that as part of your gibbous phase work, because during this cycle, you're really keeping, hi, Virginia, you're really keeping track of those ideas, because that's what this cycle's about, bold, daring ideas that come up. Well, Saturday, we have a full moon that's all about balance, harmony, grace, beauty, and relationship in the sign of Libra. And that full moon is at 26 degrees and 45 minutes of Libra at 11:54 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So we can do full moon work while we're awake. Yeah, because sometimes the full moon occurs, in the middle of the night and makes it a little difficult, but you can do your wish work during the day. So just to briefly cover that ritual tool for you, and then I'll go more deeply into the Libra full moon. You make a wish. It's similar to making an intention, because you're going to make it concise. You're going to narrow it down, but the energy peaks, it culminates. You see what you've manifested from new to full moon. So it's not the time that you actually begin anything. It's a time for reflection and release and revelation, blossoming, manifestation, and culmination. And so you make a wish. You look at what's transpired and what you wish for now. And, notice where that full moon, the moon at 26 degrees of Libra, is having light shown on it in your chart. And if you have any questions about that, if you want to know where these dynamic, all these incredible transits that have occurred and are going to be ongoing, the month ends with the second new moon and a solar eclipse, definitely make an appointment for a session. You'll know how to use your energy most efficiently on a daily basis, all the way to these longer transits, and align with your soul purpose so that you can bring the maximum joy for your highest good into your life. I love working one-on-one with you. Love working one-on-one with people. So As you craft your wish, you want to get out a piece of paper and write down what you're going to release. What could get in the way of the wish that you want to manifest? Maybe it's your soulmate, a wonderful relationship. Maybe it's more balance in your health. We've had this ongoing movement of Mars and Venus being aligned. And Venus has moved into Pisces, but Mars is going to be following this week. So as it does that, they are traveling together. They're continuing to travel together. And since December, when Venus moved in retrograde motion, it's been reminding us to look at the balance in our lives between our magnetism and our assertiveness. How open are we to receiving? I find that this is a big one in our culture. How open are we to receiving? And are we lopsided around making things happen, doing it now, taking action? Or does the other side need to be addressed because there's too much energy going in that direction? So the balance between these two principles has been energized throughout this first quarter of the year, and it continues to be so. And so this Libra full moon really brings that up because, of course, when you're talking about this alignment with Mars and Venus, you're talking about relationship. And a lot of things may be popped at this full moon around your relationships. So make a wish. Also, Libra has to do with beauty. Could you have more beauty and grace in your life, more harmony? What is your wish? And look at what could get in the way and write down all the things you're going to release that you'd like to release. And then you make a wish that is simple and concise. I happily and thankfully wish to wish for. It's not the whole kitchen sink. It's a, kind of a simple thing, because you're going to take that wish and turn it into an intention with the next new moon. So as with all intentions, your wish is simple and concise. And then you write that wish on another piece of paper in your journal. That's where I write it. And you take the paper with what you want to release on it, and you burn it. And as you burn it, it's as though as the smoke rises, it's almost like it gets sticky stuff that's connecting to all the things in your cells, all the energy that you want to release, taking it right out of your atmosphere, right out of your consciousness back into its native nothingness. And then you get a picture of your wish, very vivid, and you step into it. You drop into your heart. You feel that energy expand through your whole body, and you feel what it feels like to have your wish come true right now in that present moment. And that's what you can do at 11:54 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, or wherever you are. Remember, each phase lasts 3.5 days. So if you want to do it that night, that's good too. But I find that these exact times when the moon is exactly opposite the sun, putting its full light onto the energy of that full moon is really, really powerful. And then once you've done that, put your journal out under the full moon's light that night and charge it. And then that will become your new moon page, or if it's a piece of paper, you can tuck it away. You close your journal, and then you revisit that and include it in your new moon intentions. So that's how you work with full moon wishing. And if you have any more questions about that, you can always message me. You can message me on Facebook at Moon Powered Astrology. You can also email me at Claudia@moonpoweredastrology.com. In the subject line, put spirituality gone wild or tune into the moon, so I know that's how you connected with me originally. If you have any questions about readings, also do that. I'm certainly open to scheduling a chat with you to chat about that. I always offer a free pre-session chat, by the way, so that you get your most urgent questions answered along with the panoply of the universe that I'm looking at. So the full moon in Libra. Health-wise, it rules the endocrine system, the bladder, the kidneys. Balance. Balance in your health. How is your health? Do you have a balanced daily regimen to address your health? Libra is an air sign. So I say it's Venus of the mind. So as everything begins in consciousness, if you have balance, harmony in your consciousness, then that's what will manifest in your world. The challenge is that sometimes Libra can be in its head too much. And so that's where remembering, a Venus heart connection is a really good thing. Being sure you're drinking enough water, being sure that you're eating correctly so that your bladder, the bladder has to do with, it loves astringent things like cranberry. So checking in with your health balance. October 6th was when the new moon was in Libra, October 6, 2021. So we're looking back to that point because every full moon is not only a checkpoint for the past 2 weeks since the new moon and how you've done with your manifestation and how you've moved forward and boogied on your intentions, but it's also a checkpoint for the 6 months prior. And it's a power point for all Aries Libra people. But particularly if you hold Libran energy, it's your full moon of the year. So check in with the areas in your life calling for balance. Has a new balance been established in your life? Is your life screaming, calling for a new balance? And you have or have not been answering that call. And what needs to be released so that new balance can come into being? This is a highly reactive, volatile full moon. And that's because it's square Pluto in Capricorn. And it's not only square Pluto, it's trine Juno, which is kind of beautiful because Juno is the asteroid that has to do with relationships and marriage. So you've got harmony there if you want to program something around that. A new balance in your relationships, being more honest in your communication, seeking win-win solutions where your needs might not be met or where someone else's needs that you're relating to is calling for your attention. And then we also have a quincunx, which is a dance of adjustment between the nodal, between the North Node in Taurus. And the North Node in Taurus reminds us that we are not only in relationship to each other, but more importantly than ever before, we are in relationship to the earth. These are the two faces of Venus in the zodiac, Libra and Taurus. So even though I feel that Taurus also has to do with the rulership of the earth, we are being asked to really look at if we are being completely digitally distracted or if we are honoring the earth in our lives. And there's a website I want to recommend to you. It's called savesoil.org. Sadhguru. Okay, Catherine. Well, thank you for checking in. Boy, an earthy girl. Love it. I was born with the moon in Taurus and Virgo ascending. So that's kind of, similar energy going on there. So Sadhguru was talking about how the integrity of the soil is one of the things that we need to be focusing on the most at this time. Restoring the integrity of the soil. How are you relating to the earth? Are you supporting your local farms? Are you eating organically? Do you have your own garden? Are you putting your feet on the earth every day, thanking the earth for the fact that it sustains us with an atmosphere that is conducive to human existence? We are being so distracted by the things going on with the world. You've heard that phrase, the world is too much with us. Well, this is really true right now. So be very careful about the digital distractions. Do not let technology create or control your narrative. Connect with the earth. There is this dance of adjustment between the balance, the harmony, the beauty that our consciousness, that our mind, our mentality can get overly focused on, that air energy, and the adjustment that's needed to bring us down to earth. to bring those concepts, that consciousness down to earth. So we are in relationship with everyone and everything. And that's what Libra tells us. That's what it reminds us of. Libra is the sign of we. The whole zodiac, it goes from Aries to Virgo, from what's called in astrology the first through the sixth houses or areas of the zodiac. And then it moves above the horizon, as it's called. And we go from the subjective area of the chart into the area of we, partnership, marriage, relationship. We take everything that we collect about the self through the first six houses, and then we move to the seventh area of relationships. And this is where in the natural zodiac, this is where Libra lives. I have many friends who are artists who have Libra energy. I also have friends who do conflict resolution. I have one friend in particular who does conflict resolution up in San Francisco. And this is something she's much married, so to speak. And so she's learned a lot through that time about conflict resolution. And the moon, one of the reasons that this moon is so volatile, that this whole weekend may feel extremely emotionally intense, even though Libra can seem to be lighter energy. We have the moon moving into Scorpio at 5:23 p.m. on Saturday. So we have the full moon at 11:54, and then the moon moves into emotionally intense Scorpio, where the South Node resides. And so the things that are getting in our way, that are asking for elimination so we can experience rebirth, this is a time of rebirth in our year. So what's getting in the way of that? What needs to be eliminated? What are the old emotional hurts, constructs, wounds, and, power constructs? Because it takes us back to the fact that this moon is square Pluto. How are we using our power? How are we empowering ourselves, our consciousness? Do we believe that power is force, or do we believe that it is inherent? By the way, number 2 is the truth. Power is inherent. It's one of the ways that the world will be brought into balance, is with the recognition of that. So the day gets even more intense after the full moon. And then in the night, Saturday night, embrace the truth that you find, because that's what's likely to be popped with all this emotionally intense energy, even though the full moon's in an air sign. Save, SAVESOIL, Denise, thanks for asking. SaveSoil.org. And what we're being asked to do, just so you know, is we're being asked, those of us who are on social media, to mention the soil, even just the word soil, every day in our communications. It will seed the consciousness, and it has been found that if the consciousness is seeded, if 3 to 3.5 billion, half the population, which I believe is what's on social media, the more that can seed that idea of soil, savesoil.org, into the consciousness, we will be able to start to shift the soil back to its natural integrity within 20 years. If this window of opportunity that is open for the next 100 days goes by, it could be 50 years. And in that case, it will be a done deal. It will not support our children having the length of life and the robust health that we deserve to make as a legacy for them. So this is really, really important. Thank you for asking about that, Denise. So as we move into a Saturday, you may find that things are still, kind of intense. So just take it easy. You just had all of this energy unleashed with the full moon. You can look at how you've looked at all the issues around the halls of power, how power has been used in this world, and what it means to you in your own life. And the transformation, not just change, but the transformation of consciousness that we're called to make around the way we perceive and utilize power in our own lives. So with the Scorpio moon going through the whole weekend, it may be a bit emotionally intense. Some of you have a lot of Scorpio energy and you navigate this perhaps better than others. But because of the South Node, it's bringing up the things that need to be eliminated, the things that would block our rebirth and the pursuit of our goals, and use of this wonderful conjunction, this hopeful, beautiful conjunction that is happening. By the way, Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So Venus is like love here on the earth, and Neptune is divine love, the higher love. So at this full moon, we have both of those in play, and it gives you a clue as to where you go and what you want to focus on. Now, why is this called the pink moon? Well, there is something called, it's called phlox. I'm looking for the actual name. But there is a flower that blooms at this time of year in North America. And that's what gives this full moon its name, pink moon. And, with the sun in go-getter Aries and the moon in harmony loving Libra, this is a huge release point the whole weekend. So watch in your conversations, in your thoughts, in your feelings, what comes up, what's coming up. Because both Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars. Scorpio is dual ruled, Mars and Pluto. So that's why this moon, full moon, which oftentimes can be very gentle, is now so bombastic. It's really calling us to dive deep, to look at the source of our feelings, to feel our feelings, and to plumb the depths of them, to apply forgiveness, surrender, and then watch your dreams. Keep a dream journal if you can. Keep a dream journal. Watch for the insights in your dreams, and know that magic and the expansion of magic and wonder is alive on the planet and in your lives. And make a wish at that full moon. It's going to be a good one. And that's the thing, wishing also has a lot to do with Neptune. So we've got this beautiful energy. Truly, it is beautiful energy, because the opportunity to bring up these emotions so that we can move them out, so we can cut the cords. And so we can remember to drop into our heart, because love is always the answer. It's actually just an incredibly beautiful time and a wonderful week, even though it culminates in a somewhat emotionally intense full moon. And, be a good surfer. Drop into your heart and watch the show. You can always go to a higher perspective. That's what Neptune reminds you, because what you focus on will expand. It's guaranteed. So I will see you next week. Let me hear from you. Like me, follow me, share me. I love it when you do. And remember, now as always, I love you to the moon and way beyond. Have a beautiful week and a wonderfully happy full moon.